Hi, Meeta.
Hi.
Hello, Kotsa.
Hey. Hello.
Where are you dialing in from, Meeta? You're in Bangalore?
Me?
Yeah?
I'm from Mumbai.
Mumbai, okay. Hello, Chitra. Hi, Kotsa, you're in Auroville?
Yeah. Yes. How are you?
Good. And you? How's your Sunday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Rest today.
Hello, Audrey.
Hello, everyone. Hello,
Hi.
Vikram.
Hi. Hello, Maria.
Hello, Vikram. Good to see you.
Same here.
Hi.
Let's give it a few minutes for people to join. And in the meantime, you can just familiarize yourself with the interface. Teams is sometimes new for people. People are familiar with Zoom, but the functions are the same. There is a chat option. You can raise your hands. Just go through the interface because this will be an interactive session. So if you're familiar with this, it will help. Hello, Mira. You're on mute.
Hello.
Hi. I'm just giving it 2 minutes for people to join. Yeah. Hello, Naveen.
Hello.
Naveen, there is a sound of wind coming from your place. Maybe it's the fan.
Oh, I can turn it off.
Or you mute yourself. No, no, don't sweat.
Yeah.
Okay, it's much better. Thank you. Hello, Sahaya. Hello, Saranya. Hi, Vidushi.
Hello.
Hello, Mamta. Hello, Yuktianti.
Hi, how are you?
Very good, thank you. Nice to see you here.
Same here. I'm in Calicut for this thing. We're having a seminar, our community.
Okay,
So signing in from there.
okay. Okay, let's slowly get started. How many of you all are familiar with Teams, the Microsoft Teams interface? Are you all okay with this? Can you raise your hands if you have been on a call in Microsoft Teams? Okay, okay. All right. There is an option to digitally raise your hand at the top.
I'm just trying to
right?
familiar with this.
Yes, yes.
Just finished.
So I think it's the fourth icon on the top from the left. So if you click on that, you'll raise your hand. So during this webinar, if you have any questions or if you want to share anything, if you raise your hand, then I'll go in order. Yeah, it's going to be an interactive session. So there's going to be a lot of dialogue, conversation, sharing of experiences. We'll also have breakout rooms if time allows. So then you get to experience it a little more in detail. We'll see how it goes. But broadly speaking, the structure that I have for today is we'll do a grounding first, just to settle in. And then we'll do an intro round. There are quite a few, so maybe not everyone will get a chance to introduce, but I just want to get a sense of the room, of who is where and in astrology. So we'll do a small intro round. And then I want to show you where astrology fits in the Hindu Vedic scriptures. Because that for me is the foundation for any astrology that I do, right? I can't take astrology out of the scriptures and do it separately, right? So, and it'll give you context, right, of where astrology stands. And we are doing Vedic astrology today, slightly different or maybe very different from Western astrology. So that will be one part. And then I want to show you a way to get started in learning astrology. I call it the process of division. Yeah. And I think that will be the bulk of the session. All the interactions will be on that part. And then we'll wrap it up, question and answers or anything. And what you can do next, after this webinar, how can you continue your study of yourself and of astrology, right? Maybe that's how we should conclude this webinar today, right? I think it'll be around 90 minutes, give or take a little bit. We'll break midway for a few minutes. And this is also being recorded, and I'll put this on YouTube. I'll share it with you over email. So in case you want to leave early, then you can always watch the recording later. Yeah. Now, is everyone familiar with the chat window? So if you all can click on chat, there's a chat dialog box that will open up on the right. And just for me to get a sense of how many are comfortable with this, can you just type your name and where you're logging in from, which part of the world you're logging in from? And just a
Deepu
small
isn't
note. Yeah.
Deepu isn't
So-
Tehiri actually.
Just a small note, the recording does not record the chat. Yeah. So just so you know, when you watch the recording later, the chat messages won't come up. Okay, I'm seeing a few messages. Hello from Chennai, from Mumbai, Bangalore. There's Ahmedabad and Chennai and Auroville. There's Bali as well. Excellent. We have people from all over, from different time zones. Okay, just two other logistical points. There is a mute icon. So in case there's any background noise from your side or something like that, you can just go on mute. And when you want to speak, please unmute and you can speak. Yeah. And then you can also use the chat window. And yeah, I think we have a good quorum. I think we can get started now. Any questions before we begin? I see Shiva. Hello, Shiva. Antara, Yamuna. Nice to see you again, Shiva. Okay. Let's get started. Yeah. First is grounding. So important. So if you can put your phones on silent mode, turn off notifications, make yourself available for the next 90 minutes or so. If you're sitting on a floor, see if your back is straight, at least for the grounding. Your feet firmly on the floor, chin parallel to the floor. If you are comfortable, you can close your eyes or you can lower your gaze. I am closing my eyes and bring your attention to your breath. And just become aware of how you're breathing today. Just notice your breath. As the breath enters your nose, see if you can follow it. How fast or slow are you breathing today? How deep or shallow is your breath? Is there a pause between breaths? And now I'd like us to all synchronize our breathing. I'll tell you what I'm doing and see if you can follow along. I'm breathing in and breathing out. I'm breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and letting go. And slowly come back to normal breathing. If your mind has wandered, bring it back to your breath. Become aware of where you are seated. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Okay. Thank you for following along. I'd like to do a small introduction round. And the question, the prompt I have is, what is your relationship with astrology? Yeah. You can say your name and where you find yourself with astrology. I'll go first. And if anybody would like to share, just raise your hand, or I can also call out your names. My name is Vikram. I'll be your host this afternoon. Astrology for me started off as a hobby. It became a passion. It became my life. And I've seen my relationship with astrology just deepen and deepen and take me to many places, geographically and otherwise. And I've checked in. So I'd like to hear from a few of you. If you can share, please. Yes, Audrey. You're on mute.
Yeah, so I wanted to say that since little I was kind of influenced but by Western astrology, and I knew that somehow there was an influence of the stars and what's in the universe on our lives. And I took an interest in Vedic astrology because I feel it's even more accurate. So I'm kind of discovering that, and I'm really curious to know more.
Great. Thank you. Meeta?
So yeah, I'm from Mumbai, and so many years ago, when I was going through an all-time low in life, I had taken help of astrology, and for years I became totally dependent on it till I didn't like myself anymore. Like I used to be so scared. Without consulting my astrologer, I wouldn't do a thing. And this went on for almost 6 years, and I realized I don't like myself anymore because I'm so dependent on her, and I was even more frightened of life. It made me even more fearful of things than I began with. So I shut all my charts and everything, and I just get, and in fact, even through the really force my family to do certain things, whatever the astrologer said. I used to spend a lot of money on it, and I just, by the end of 6 years, I was like, no, I don't want to live this way. I don't want to live enslaved to something or so fearful. It made me more fearful of life. Till 2 years ago, I met a friend who's online. I met a friend who we just happened to be in the chat room, on a Zoom call, and she had a lot of Vedic astrology, and when she spoke of astrology and planets, and somehow it did not feel like the same astrology that I had associated myself with. It felt completely different. So, and I felt more friendlier with the planets, and I didn't feel that anger when I listened to her and all that. So I just, out of curiosity, I just want to reacquaint myself with this, understand myself better. Astrology. And when I saw your post, I said, why not like make a beginning? I've been wanting to get myself acquainted or get friendly with it again, but I've been hugely resistant to it.
I hear you.
So this, I took a leap of faith and I said, okay, fine, let's try once more. Like,
thank you. Yeah, I hear you. Monica?
Hi, I'm Monica. I'm from Brazil. I met you first in the United States. I don't know if you remember me. But anyway, I started astrology in my journey of self-knowledge because I want to improve myself as a human being. And I think the first step is to know yourself well. And I see that astrology can help me, among other things and other kinds of knowledge. Astrology can help me with that. And that's why I'm on this way. I mean, I'm studying and learning more and more about astrology. So yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Vidushi?
Hello. Hello, everybody. Hi. So, I am actually a natural builder. So, I have been working closely with natural materials from quite some time. And slowly, I was kind of.
Vidushi, you're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, I'm so sorry, guys. Hello. Hello, everybody. So, my name is Vidushi. I am a natural builder. I'm into permaculture. And slowly my work got me closer to the natural element. So I think I'm in this journey where I find astrology as a very beautiful, profound subject actually, to which we can get to know some more secrets of this life and universe. So I think I'm looking for that. Also, of course, to understand ourselves. But then I think I am very looking forward to explore this beautiful subject.
Great. Thank you. I just got a sense of where people are, and I hear you when you say you had bad experiences. Me too. And you want to rediscover astrology for personal growth. Me too. Right. And it's something that takes me outdoors under the sky into the natural world, so different ways we connect with nature, and for me, astrology is the way. Okay, so let's get started. Yeah, let me show you where astrology fits in the broad scheme of things where Indian Vedic scriptures, Hindu Vedic scriptures are concerned. Yeah, I'll share my screen. And yeah, are able to see my screen? You can just give a thumbs up. Yeah, perfect. So, yes, Naveen, you have a question?
No, I just raised the hand.
Okay, fine. All right. Let's start with the Hindu Vedic scriptures. Now, these scriptures, they span thousands of years. Yeah. And by many different authors. They have been compiled by one person, but several different authors. And because it spans several thousands of years, we are categorizing them now into manageable groupings. Broadly speaking, there are 6 groupings, right? We have what is known as Shruti, which is what was heard. Yeah, if you want to roughly translate it, everything under the Shruti grouping is what was heard. Smriti is what is remembered. By who? By the one who wrote those scriptures. Yeah, many different authors, but whatever they wrote from memory of what they had learned comes under Smriti. If they heard something like, say, from a higher voice or a deeper inner voice, what they heard comes under Shruti. Then there's Itihasa, which is roughly translated, it is history. What actually happened? It's classified as Itihasa. Then we have stories, all the mythology, which comes under Puranas. Okay? We have something called Agamas, which was what was given to the rishis who wrote these scriptures. They were said, take this and work with it. It's not something they remembered, it's not something they heard, but what they were given. Then we have darshanas, which are their insights. As they worked on the path, the insights they had, as they made a note of them, it came to be known as the darshanas. Right? Let's take a deeper look at this. If we look at the Shruti, there are 3 groupings. Remember, Shruti is what was heard, right? So to give you an example, I think all of you would be familiar with Moses, right? Moses, who heard the 10 commandments. He heard it, right? So where Hindu Vedic scriptures is concerned, we would put that under Shruti. Right? Now, in Shruti, there are 3 subcategories called the Vedas, the Upavedas, and the Vedangas. So the Vedas, as you know, there are 4 Vedas and stuff, but it's the knowledge. It's what is known as knowledge, right? Rough English translation is knowledge. Upavedas is secondary knowledge. Vedangas are the limbs of the Vedas. Now, Vedas, when we say knowledge, knowledge of what? Right? Any knowledge related to the self, the truest, deepest, innermost self is what the Vedas are concerned about. That is knowledge. Anything that supports me to get familiar with my innermost self, the supporting systems, the supporting branches of knowledge are the Upavedas, secondary knowledge. Vedangas are like tools, like the limbs, the tools through which I address the Upavedas or the Vedas. Remember, this is the way we have categorized the Vedas today, right? This categorization is not given from age-old times. It's modern-day categorization. Yeah, just to make sense of all these thousands of scriptures. Let's look at the Vedas. There are 4 Vedas, but each Veda has 3 or 4 components. One is the Samhitas, which give you all the rituals, the hymns, the mantras, the japas, all of that comes in what is known as the Samhita. Then you have the Brahmanas, which gives you the commentary on those rituals. Yeah. The Aranyakas gives the esoteric meaning of the rituals. Why do we do a ritual in a particular way? What is the meaning behind that? The esoteric meaning is given in the Aranyakas. And then you have the Upanishads, which give you the philosophy behind it, very different from the esoteric meaning. The philosophy, the spiritual knowledge related to the self is given in the Upanishads. This, most of us have a rough idea, Vedas, Upanishads. We have the Upavedas, Ayurveda, which deals with health, Dhanurveda, which deals with warfare, Gandharva Veda, which deals with sound and music. So Hindustani classical music comes from the Gandharva Veda section of the Hindu Vedic scriptures, right? Arthashastra, which tells you how to govern a nation. Chanakyas, for instance, comes under Arthashastra. These are Upavedas, right? So they are supporting systems of knowledge to help me understand my truest self, which are the Vedas. Where is astrology in all of this? Right? We keep saying astrology is Vedic. Where is astrology in all of this? It's a Vedanga. Right? So there is Siksha, which talks about how to pronounce the language Sanskrit. Just rules of pronunciation, rules of grammar, Vyakarana. The tone in which something should be recited, right, comes under the Chandas. Where the definitions of words comes from is part of the Niruktas. And then we have astrology as a Jyotisha. Yeah? There's also instructions on conducting rituals, which comes under the Kalpas. But astrology is a Vedanga. Now, Vedanga is part of the Shruti. That means it is what was heard by the rishis, heard from something that is not human. Right? The source of that voice is not human. That is what makes something Vedic. Shruti is that. Right? So they go into very deep states of concentration, contemplation, where they receive the words, they receive the sutras from a higher intelligence. And that is part of the Shruti component of the Hindu Vedic scriptures. Yeah? Let me just take you briefly through the others, because this is what makes it interesting for me, the practice of astrology, all the other areas of the Hindu Vedic scriptures. Yeah? So there's Smriti. Remember, Smriti is what was remembered, right? There's Manu Smriti, there's Yajnavalkyas, there's Parashara Smriti. Many of them are lost, right? This is what was remembered. There's Itihasa, which is what actually happened. I know there's a lot of debate about whether Ramayana really happened or not, whether Mahabharata happened or not. But the belief is that it did happen, right? And they are categorized as itihasas, history. It actually happened. Ramayana happened in something called the Treta Yuga. Mahabharata happened in the Dwapara Yuga, right? So we are going into cosmology. We can take that up, in another webinar or in a deeper program, right? Longer program. What these yugas are, what timescales they represent, what happened in each yuga, what are the yugas that are going to come up, right? All of that part of a deeper program. Puranas are the mythology, right? So we have the Mahapuranas, where we get stories of all the gods, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. We have the Upapuranas, where we get stories of the smaller deities. And we have also the additional Puranas, Upapuranas. Many of them are lost, right? I'm going to link all of this to astrology, and that is why I'm sharing this. We have the Agamas, which is what was given. So we have the Vaishnava Agama, we have the Shaiva Agama, we have the Sakta Agama, right? Worship of Shakti, worship of Shiva, worship of Vishnu, right? Tantra, for instance, comes from here, from the Sakta Agama. And now you'll see why Tantra is regarded very different from Veda, because Vedic knowledge is part of Shruti. Tantric knowledge is part of the Agamas, what was given. This is what makes them very different. Yeah. Lastly, we have the darshanas. I understand it as philosophies, but darshanas is what is seen, the insights that the rishis had, right? Yoga comes over here as part of a darshana. The Sankhya philosophy is part of the darshanas. Yeah. I just want to pause here, see if you have any questions or thoughts before I link all of this to astrology. Okay, no questions? All right, now look at where astrology is over here, right? It's part of, where's my mouse? Yeah, it's over here, Jyotisha. Right? Jyotisha is the science of light. Jyoti means light. The study of light, the science of light is Jyotisha. Right? Jyotish Shastra is what it's called, Vedic astrology. It's part of the Shrutis, which means it is connected for me to the Upanishad. See, the broad scheme of things, the intention behind the Vedas and the Hindu Vedic scriptures is for me to realize who I am. Self-discovery, my innermost self. Who am I? It is the one question Vedanta deals with. Who am I? Am I this body? Am I this mind? Who am I? That's the purpose for me of the Vedas. Jyotish, astrology, is part of the Shruti. So astrology for me is basically a Vedanga, a limb, to help me understand who I am. Yeah. But the whole entirety of the Hindu Vedic scriptures addresses that question. For instance, in the Gita, Krishna speaks about the self. Even though it is not part of Vedic knowledge, it is part of the Itihasas, Krishna is still addressing the same question. What is the self? What is the soul? What is the Atman? They're all interrelated. In fact, the Gita is said to be an Upanishad. Even though it is not classified as a Shruti, it is said to be an Upanishad. It is called as Gitopanishad because it's addressing the same question in a philosophical manner, the self. So I start drawing parallels. I start mapping things. I start looking at astrology and say, okay, wait, Krishna said this. Now, how can I link that to what I learn in astrology? But not just that. There's yoga there. I practice yoga. Yoga, pranayama. It's part of the Hindu Vedic scriptures. So for me, they're all related. So when I look at astrology and I say a certain planet or a certain tattva element needs to be remedied or balanced, what we call as remedies in astrology, I can choose it from anywhere over here. I don't restrict myself to choose it only from the Samhitas. What are the samhitas? The rituals. Homa, japa, yagna, mantra, puja. That comes in the samhitas. Why do I have to restrict my remedies to the samhitas? I can take it from the Upanishads. I can take a remedy from the Gita. I can take the remedy from Tantra. I can take the remedy from Ayurveda. Or I can take it from yoga. They're all part of the same body of work. What do I mean by that? If I want to say strengthen Jupiter, the traditional astrologer will say, do this mantra, go to this temple, do this homa. He's taking it from the samhitas. But I'll say, change your diet, no? Let's start with that. What food does Jupiter represent? What asanas does Jupiter represent? Can we address those asanas in yoga? Do you see where I'm coming from? Now, I can also use mythology to address Jupiter. Part of the Puranas. Jupiter is said to be Vamana avatar. You know the Dashavatar. Jupiter is Vamana avatar. So if I know the story of Vamana, and in this chart, Jupiter has to be addressed, okay, let me connect with Vamana. What does Vamana avatar mean? Depends on you. What you connect with, what you resonate with. Does not have to be Homa, Japa, Yagna. That's my point over here. The second point is they are all related. All the different Hindu Vedic scriptures. So I want to pause there. I want to get a sense of how this is landing on you. Right? Anyone would like to share? You can just raise your hands. Yeah, Sahaya.
So in the beginning, in somewhere in the middle, you had made a comparison between Tantra and you said Tantra is given and what was remembered?
Shruti. No, remembered is Smriti. What is
and you said
Tantra comes over here as an agama. It's part of the Satta agama.
It is given.
Agama was given to the rishis, right? By maybe their fathers or their forefathers. It was just handed over and said, okay, now you take it forward, right? And they made a note of it, right? So it was given to them.
And then this is compared to something that is either remembered or heard.
It is not compared. We're not comparing. We are classifying. We are grouping it to make sense of it. Because the body of work is so large, we want to have manageable components, you know. Not only the body of work, the number of authors, the number of rishis, and the span of time, thousands of years, that means the grammar changed over time, right? The way it was spoken changed over time. Not just that, there was migration. And look, all this is hypothesis, right? So there was migration. That means the culture changed, the surroundings changed. So to make sense of that body of work, this particular scholar, what's his name? Ramani, has categorized it in this way, right? You'll have different categories, right? This is what seems to make the most sense to me. So, yeah. Okay. Divya, Meera, and then Brinda.
Okay, I'll just answer, as you said, that what is the sense that we are getting out of this? what I understand is that the entire cosmos is so deeply integrated that if we want to kind of find a remedy for a certain thing, it's not just going to lie in doing yagya or jap. It could be either from a herb, it could come from plant kingdom, crystal kingdom, it could come from, you know, breath work. So, I mean, this opens up a huge plethora of possibilities to integrate depending on one's availability, you know, whether they're financially capable of doing certain things, maybe their body is capable of doing a certain thing. For an example, for an athlete, I mean, to do physical work could be much faster, but somebody, for other person who's more receptive to crystals, maybe crystals could help. So I believe this is a beautiful integrated way of seeing, and not a phonetic approach, but it opens it widens up our own intellect of looking at one subject matter in a very different way. So thank you very much. Yes.
Right. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Meera?
Yeah,
You're on mute.
it's already been answered, but I find this so enthralling, and then this whole way of integrating. So that's beautiful. So we'll get a recording. Is it possible to get a closer look at this chart? Or we can send it later. I mean, there's no.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Brinda?
Hi, Vikram. Good to connect with you again.
Yes.
First of all, thank you for putting it all so beautifully together. I find this fascinating, and I had no idea that I kind of knew they were connected, but it's nice to know how they are connected. So thank you so much for sharing this with us. I have two questions, or actually one question. Shruti and Agamai, right?
Uh-huh.
They are both given. So just to clarify, if I understand this correctly,
No.
Shruti said,
Shruti is what was heard.
Heard. Okay, got it. That's where I went wrong. Okay.
Yeah.
So Shruti, what was heard from a source that is not human, correct?
That is not human, correct.
And Agama is something that's given to us by our
Not
forefather.
not us. Given to the rishis who wrote it, who compiled it.
By human sources.
By human sources. It could be their gurus, it could be their teachers, it could be their fathers. What was given to them, right? By human sources, correct.
Okay. Thank you. And one more question. Would it be possible to watch the recording? Because there's so much information, I don't think I'll remember everything.
Absolutely. Yes, I'll be sharing the recording over email, and it will be on YouTube. You'll get the link, and you can go into this. Now, what I covered in 15-20 minutes over here, we usually spend a good hour or two, in my full program, right? Over here, I'm just giving you the broad schemes to tell you, okay, this is how I'm approaching astrology, and to open up something new for you, right? Because the common perception people have is Homa, Yagna, Japa, Mantra, and astrology, right? And I'm challenging that. I'm saying why. I don't know Sanskrit. I don't know the rituals, but I read the Gita. I do yoga. So can I use that to help my clients? Right? So,
yeah, thank you. Because it's the one thing that I think put me off astrology for many years, because I thought it was all about rituals and homas, and I didn't know how they were connected. So yes, partly it was my ignorance, but now it's the way you've put it, it makes a lot more sense. Thank you.
Yeah. But here's the thing to note, right? So it's part of the Vedas. So astrology, the goal for me is self-knowledge.
Right.
Yeah. That's the goal of all the Hindu Vedic scriptures, self-knowledge, right? And that is what I want to take you into in the next slide, just while we complete this. Sahaya?
Thank you.
You're on mute.
Sorry. Just a thing, I'm so excited to what you just shared. So I really want to thank you, Vikram, because next week I'm going to be studying a course on Sankhya philosophy. It's an online course.
Right.
And I was just attracted to it because I also study from the teacher otherwise.
Right.
And now looking at this Darshana chart, it makes so much of sense of Sankhya and yoga being connected. So
Oh, yes.
yeah, really thrilled to, study this chart with you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. So the Patanjali Yoga Sutras comes under the darshanas. Yeah. Okay. So anyone else? No, it's all okay. Shall we take 5 minutes? Shall we take a small break? We are a good 47 minutes into the session. Or shall we continue? We take a break? Yes?
We can continue too.
We can continue too? Okay. I need a break. So give me maybe 5 minutes and then we will continue. Yeah?
Do we rejoin back?
No, you stay. You don't leave the call. You just stay and yeah. Okay. Let's get started. I don't know if it's 5 minutes, but can you give me a sign if you all are back and your video is not on? Yes. Okay, Mamta is back. Okay, Antara is back. Brinda is back. All right. So let's continue. So this was...
Yes, I'm back too.
Yes. Okay. So this was the Hindu Vedic scriptures, and the goal of this, from my understanding, is realization of the self. To understand who I am. That's the fundamental purpose of the Hindu Vedic scriptures. Sahaya, your hand is up. You have a question, or that's from before? Yeah, thank you. Okay. If I put it very simply, sorry, yeah. The goal of the scriptures is for me to realize the oneness. You can call it whatever you want. You can call it the divine, you can call it the higher self, you can call it anything, right? It's all part of a one entity, and I'm part of that higher entity. And it's a way to realize that. And each part of the scriptures is giving me a different way to realize that. So the Upanishads, each Upanishad gives you a different way, so to speak, right? Some of the Upanishads tell you to chant Om. Some of the Upanishads tell you to ask yourself, sit and ask, what is that? What is this? A different way, right? Yoga is its own way, right, to realize the self. Astrology now is part of that Hindu Vedic scripture. So for me, astrology is also providing a way to realize that higher self, that oneness. What is this way? For me, it is a process of division, right? What do I mean by that? In order to understand the oneness, let me just divide it into two. Instead of having one, let me divide it into two. What do I get? Any ideas? What I get if I divided the oneness into two? All of creation, I will divide it into two. All people, I will divide it into two. All phenomena, I will divide it into two. What will I get?
Oneness only.
Yes, but I want to understand that oneness. And in order to make it easy for me to understand, I will group it into two. What are those two groups? Sahaya?
The yin and the yang?
Purush Prakriti? Yeah.
Yes. So Purusha and Prakriti. So over here, I'm talking of Prakriti. I'm dividing Prakriti into two. Right? Monica? Ekotsa? Ekotsa
Yes,
and then
okay.
Monica.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yin and yang.
Yin and yang, okay.
Yes.
And Monica?
But both are balanced, no?
Both are...
Both creates balance.
Both are balanced. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Divided into two.
Monica?
Yes, I think when you divide oneness, you have the otherness. Yes.
No, it's the oneness that I'm dividing. Everything that is manifested is in that oneness.
Okay, so if you, that's why I don't understand. That's why I'm trying to understand it.
Okay, okay.
So when you divide, you have the others, the creation. You are part of it, yin yang. But
Correct.
at first, we see at the otherness. At first, well, I'm imperfect soul, so I cannot see the oneness, not yet. So I always see the other, and sometimes I need to see the other to see me. And in yang, but I know that there is a connection, but I don't see at first. I don't see immediately. I don't have this perception.
Right, exactly. That's the same problem that I face. I don't see the oneness, right? But all the scriptures are telling me that we are part of that one reality. We are not separate, you and me. We are not separate. That is what the scriptures are saying. So, and the scriptures give us different ways to realize that oneness, right? Now, I'm showing you a different way. I'm showing you the astrology way to realize that oneness. And what I'm saying is everything that has been created, right? These lights and this compute, everything that has been created, if I make it into two categories, what I get is in astrology, what we call as positive and negative. It's not about good and bad. It's also called as male and female. Again, it's not gender. It's captured really well with yin and yang, right? Yin and yang are two entities of that one whole, right? It's one circle that contains the yin and contains the yang. We'll go into that a little more detail, right? But I'm trying to understand creation by grouping it into either yin or yang. And sometimes it can't be just yin or just yang. It's like a scale. Even that is possible, right? But we're looking at the two extremes, right? And we are saying all of this I can put as yin, all of this as yang. Vidushi, you have a question?
Hi. So I have been also, I've been basically taking lessons from this one very great professor called Keith Critchlow. So they have studied a lot of Vastu and Vedic mathematics as well as Buddhist mathematics. So their lecture actually started with this concept. Very beautifully, what they explained was geometrically we were taught how to make a yin and yang. That how a circle's capacity, that a circle is a whole, a four square is an earth, and then there is a triangle, the three, the mind, the consciousness, the self, the manush, the manas.
Right.
So basically, it is tendency of a circle to divide itself into 6. 1, that's the creation, like the 6 days it takes for the earth.
Yeah,
to
but you're going
implement it.
off topic, so let's just stay over here. Yeah.
No,
so
I
that's
was trying to say
that's another method. Yeah. Yeah.
No, I was trying to say that in yin and yang. So from the flower of creation comes the yin and yang. So what they were explaining is that it is usually never the duality. It is the yin yang and the Tao, the whole.
Correct. So the whole, the Tao over here is the oneness.
With the oneness, yes. I was just getting to that. So yes,
Yeah.
this is like the oneness is the Tao and one is the two extremes of it.
Yes.
Everything combines
absolutely.
in that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
We'll go further into this in the next slide, but let's just understand this process of division, right? Now this, I get yin and yang if I divided the oneness into 2. What will I get if I divide it into 3? Why am I dividing it into 3, right? If I divide it into smaller and smaller units, I can understand it better. Because the oneness is just, I can't understand it, right? If I can understand yin and yang, great. And from there, I go into the oneness. Okay, now I can't understand yin and yang. I make it smaller components by dividing into 3. What will I get? Yeah, Ekotsa.
I think it's mind, body, and soul. That's what you say, differentiate, no? The divide between us, mind, body, and soul.
Mind, body, and soul. But then you are talking only of humans. But here I'm talking of Prakriti. So the cricket match, the casino, the holiday vacation, the whole of Prakriti, I'm dividing into 3.
No idea.
Sahaya, your hand is up. You're on mute.
I think you're talking of the 3 gunas, Raja, Sattva, and
You get the 3 gunas. Yeah.
the balance. So the middle one is the balancing the 2 doshas.
No, leave balance aside. You have the 3 gunas. The whole of Prakriti, when you divide into 3, you get the 3 gunas. But there's a few more answers, right? Divya?
Could it be birth, nurture, and death? Like anything is born with stages of its existence. So
yes.
Yeah, that's what.
That is what I have. Yes. Okay. So I have Brahma.
Brahma,
the
Vishnu.
birth.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Trinity.
Yes. And then I have Vishnu, symbolized by the Sudarshan Chakra. Yeah. And then I have Shiva, right? The Trishul. So this is the birth, the sustenance, and the transformation. Right? But you can also work with the gunas, right? The sattva, the rajas, and the tamas, spoken so much in the Gita. You can work with the doshas, the 3 doshas, right? These doshas don't exist only in the human body. In all events, you have the doshas, the characteristics. But that's a separate branch, right? Ayurveda. But here, in astrology, I work with Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Okay? So those of you who are familiar with astrology, we have something called the cardinal, the fixed, and the mutable signs, the zodiac signs. See, the oneness over here in astrology is the zodiac. The zodiac gets divided into 2, the yin signs and the yang signs. I'm trying to understand the zodiac. I can't. So I go into categories. So you have Aries, Gemini, Leo, and so on, which are yang. You have Taurus, Cancer, Virgo, and so on, which are yin. Now, the same zodiac I divide into 3, or all of creation I divide into 3, and I get the Brahma signs, the Vishnu signs, and the Shiva signs. So Aries, for instance, is cardinal. It is a Brahma sign. Right? Vidushi?
Sorry. So, yeah, like you just explained right now that the yin signs are like Taurus, Cancer, Virgo, and yang signs are like Gemini, Aries, and Leo. So, what does yin and yang represents here when we say that?
That's in the next slide, coming to that,
Okay.
right?
All right.
But let's just complete this. So this is when I divide into 3. What will I get if I divide into 4? I get the elements.
5 elements are 5.
The 5th element, which is ether, is the oneness.
Oh, okay.
So the 4 elements come out of that ether space, right? The space contains the 4 elements. right? The same oneness, the same zodiac, we are dividing into 4. We get earth, water, air, and fire. So each sign is associated with an element. Yeah. Now I can take this further, right? Let me divide that oneness into 12. Why do I have to stop at 4? I divide into 12. What do I get?
The Rashis.
The Rashis. Exactly. You get the Rashis. Right? But each of those Rashis or signs, zodiacal signs, contains the others. So for instance, if you take Taurus, it is an earth sign, it is a Vishnu sign, fixed sign, and it is a yin sign. It contains the other divisions. Right? So one way to understand Taurus, which is actually my way to understand Taurus, is to understand the smaller groupings. What is yin? What is Vishnu? What is earth? If I understand these, I'll understand Taurus. I don't have to stop at dividing by 12. Let me divide by 27. The same oneness, I'll divide into 27. What do I get?
Stars. 27 stars.
The nakshatras.
Nakshatras.
The 27 nakshatras I get. I don't have to stop at 27. I can divide into 108. Smaller and smaller divisions in order to understand that one large oneness. Yeah, I want to pause here before we go into the next topic. Any questions, any thoughts? Yes, Sahaya.
What is about 108? Can you please tell?
We get the Navamsha Padas. It's a divisional chart in Vedic astrology. And we get the different padas, and each has its own meaning and interpretation.
Is it also the same, like when you say 108 is a significant number, you have the mala, which is 108 beads?
Different reasons why they say 108 is significant. This could be one of them. Monica?
Can I say that because you're dividing into smaller and smaller pieces, elements or classes for us to understand better, right? So, but can I also understand Taurus, for instance, and Earth by the opposite? The opposite is and the opposite is, I think, is Scorpio. I'm not sure, but by the opposite, across.
Yeah. Not necessarily, because the sign that is opposite to Taurus is Scorpio, and both Taurus and Scorpio are yin. So by understanding Scorpio, you're not going to understand Taurus, because some of it is going to be the same, some of it is going to be different. The way to understand Taurus is to really understand the building blocks of Taurus. Right? These are the building blocks. Right? The dualities. When you divide into 2, you get the dualities. When you divide into 3, you get the modalities. When you divide into 4, you get the elements. The combination of this is what makes Taurus or Gemini or Cancer or anything. Right? Ekotsa and then Vidushi.
Yeah, my question is, how is the Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwar connects with the signs?
Yes, that's what we'll go into next.
Okay.
Yeah. Vidushi?
I want to know what are the names of 3 gunas again?
The gunas are Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas.
Okay, thank you.
So I think of it as the good, bad, and ugly, but that's just light-hearted, right? Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. Okay. So what we do is we go into this plus and minus, right? And it is said to be male and female in the scriptures, but I don't use that terminology because that brings up the connotation of gender. I stick with yin and yang, even though that is really Chinese, but it captures the essence of the meaning for me, right? And yin and yang is exactly what you think of yin and yang. Yin is all introverted, yang is all extroverted. Yin is going within, yang is going out. Yin is dark, yang is bright. Yin is slow, yang is fast. Yin is passive, yang is active. Right? Let me show you what I have. I've made study cards for everything in astrology. Right? I have my own deck for the planets. I have my own deck for the zodiacal signs, for the elements. I have a deck for aspects. I have a deck for, I'm working on a deck for the nakshatras, trying to capture, the key traits of that into a card, right? So over here, what you see are the qualities of the dualities. At the bottom, I have the asanas for activating that duality. Right? So anything that is restorative yoga is yin. Anything that is active and fast, ashtanga kind of yoga, becomes yang. But really, if you do the Surya Namaskar, you will increase the fire in you. It activates the yang. At the bottom, you'll see symbols. You can ignore that for now. They are the planets and the signs that are associated with these two, right? So when we study astrology more in depth, we will be looking at all of that, right? But for the purposes of this webinar, just get a broad sense of what yin stands for and what yang stands for. Any thoughts, any questions?
Is yin and yang similar to Ida and Pingla?
So the Ida and Pingala, if I remember correctly, it relates to the two halves of my brain, right? So these are the energies that go around the spine as it rises. I think you will find a mapping.
Yeah, there's a lot of similarity because Ida and Pingla is the breath, I mean, the left and the right.
Yeah.
So it has nature and elements attached. Thank you.
You will find a mapping, yeah.
Yeah.
How can we relate these to Prakriti and Purush? Which one
no.
can
No. We are not relating it to Prakriti and Purush. The Prakriti we are dividing into yin and yang. Purusha, it's untouchable.
Okay.
It's not manifested, the Purusha, right? What has been manifested is what we are trying to understand.
Okay.
And when we understand what has been manifested in its entirety, you will understand what has not manifested.
Got it. Understood.
That's the track over here. Yeah. But yeah. Okay. So then let's see what you would say about this. We have seen what yin and yang is. I'm showing you a photograph. Can you speak to me about this photograph from yin and yang? What do you sense over here? Yeah, Monica.
Relationship.
Okay.
Connection.
Yeah, but what are you sensing? Are you sensing a yin energy over here, or are you sensing a yang energy here?
With this background, I think there I cannot see it separated. Well, I cannot discern.
What is yin for you? What is yang for you?
Oh, yin is the insightful energy.
Right.
And
Right.
yang is
right.
impulse.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, let's see what the others have to say. Vidushi?
Hi. So I see that the female has a, to my perception, has a very yang energy.
Why? Why do you say that?
I think it's also the light on her face. That would be the first indication,
Okay.
graphically.
Okay, all right. Ekotsa?
I would say for me, it was more yang and a little bit of yin too. Yang, as in it was warming, positive, yes, energy. Yeah. And then when it comes to yin, it is also peaceful and emotional too. So those things. Yeah.
Okay. Brinda?
Yeah, for me, the more I look at it, the more I keep looking at it, it's very hard to demarcate the two. There's a little bit of each in both halves of the image. And the light on the female, the front, for the male, it's on the back. And the darkness is just the opposite. So, and even when you look at the water behind is on the female side, there's more of blue and a bit of the white, and it's the opposite, almost like a mirror reflection. So it's me to separate the two. That's my opinion.
Great. What about this? Is it yin or is it yang?
It's chaos.
Yang.
Yang? You associate this with yang? Anyone would say it's yin? Monica?
Yes, I can't. Well, I think that sometimes we pin things and we as a stereotype, so we have to be very careful. So
go into the stereotypes. It's okay. It's fine.
Yeah, and we do that. We do that to understand.
Yes, exactly.
We have to understand.
Exactly. We are trying to understand.
Yeah,
we are dividing the whole of creation into two, including traffic congestions.
Yeah, but I try to see in whenever I can. If I my tendency or I'm willing to see young. I don't want to classify young as chaotic. I wanted to try to see the balance.
It's interesting what you're saying. I'm asking you to classify. I'm giving you permission to classify.
Well, right? I'm running away from my analytical background. Sorry.
No. Over here, for me, traffic is not moving. So I would say it's very yin.
Oh, yeah, that is still, yin.
Yeah.
Also, it's very dark, it's congested, it's dark. So it's very yin.
What am I trying to do by showing you these photographs? Okay, let's take something else. Okay, this. Is this yin or yang?
Yin.
yin, right? Would anyone say it's yang?
It can be potentially yang. Because he's in
he's in depression, right? It looks like he's in depression.
Yeah. He's thoughtful. Let's say that he's thoughtful in energy. And next step, because everything is dynamic, is to move.
Next step, exactly. That's the thing. Because there's an abundance of yin over here, we need to activate the yang. There, we are coming into remedies in astrology. If I tell this person to meditate, sit quietly, sit still, don't think, I mean, is that something I would tell him? Or I would tell him, okay, come on, get moving. Let's do some exercise. Let's go out into the sun, right? I'm trying to bring in yang energy because there's an abundance of yin. Not just an abundance over here, it is on the shadow side of abundance. It's taken on a shadowy tinge over here. And Monica, I have to judge. I have to use my analytical brain over here to say this person needs yang. First, I'm judging, right? I'm saying there's an abundance of yin. First judgment. Second judgment, it is not helping him. That's my second judgment. Now I bring in my analytical brain and say, okay, to make him feel better, I need to increase the yang. Next analytical judgment. What can I do? What do I have in my toolkit that will help him increase his yang? What I have in my toolkit is Surya Namaskar. Can I teach him how to do Surya Namaskar? But if you go to another astrologer, they may have something else in their toolkit. But astrology, unfortunately or fortunately, it's about judgment and analysis. Yeah. What about this? Is it yin?
Yang.
Too much yang.
Too much yang, right? Too much yang. Now, how do I balance that too much yang? Am I going to go and fight with him? Because that is, again, bringing in a yang energy as a remedy. It's not a remedy, right? But this is my approach, right? If I were to encounter this, I will embody a very yin energy in myself in order to balance that excessive yang energy. So, one last photograph before we conclude. What about this? Archana, you're on mute. It's yang.
Like balance.
Like balance.
Controlled yang.
Controlled yang. For me, this is a very interesting photograph because you can either have attack or defense, right? Attack, I can classify as yang. Defense, I can classify as yin. But there's no saying which is more important. For me, that comes out, that aspect of yin and yang comes out very strongly in this, right? Brinda?
When I looked at it, it was more of a healthy balance between yin and yang versus a rather unhealthy from the previous pictures. That's what came to me first.
Right. Exactly. It's a very healthy balance, right? So one is attacking and one is defending, one is yang, one is yin. Both can be in the same form of martial art. Yeah. So what was my intention of showing you these photographs? Yeah. It is to tell you that everything can be classified into yin and yang, or into the modalities or the elements, and to show you a way to do astrology in day-to-day life. The moment you encounter an event, a situation, when you go out after this webinar and you encounter a situation, if you can tune in to that energy, is it a yin energy? Is it a yang energy? If there's an excess of yin, can I bring in a little yang? If there's an excess of yang, can I bring in a little yin? For me, you're doing astrology. No need of the birth chart, no need of the planets, no need of the stars. This is astrology in day-to-day life. And this is with just yin and yang, right? Then you have the modalities, right? You have the elements, and this is what we take up in much more detail in a program, right? So I'm offering the 1-year program starting from April. It's going to be for 1 year, where we are going to go into all of this, right? Which are the planets that are yin? Which are the signs that are yin? How do you look at your chart and say, are you yin or are you yang? Then you go into the modalities and all of this, right? So this will be online, 2 hours a week, starting from April. And this webinar is to give you an intro to astrology, to let you see what astrology can be, right? Other than Homa, Mantra, Japa, Yagna, because that yeah, it is possible, right? But astrology is much more. Okay, I want to pause there. I want to get your thoughts, any questions. Are you all interested in studying this further? What's the general energy in the room?
Do you have any shorter courses than 1 year, like 6 months?
Yeah, I used to do, initially I started with weekend workshops. Then I made it 2-month workshops. And then I went into 1 year. No, currently I'm not doing anything short term. It's not possible to do justice to the subject if it's short term, from my standpoint. So I'm doing only, and actually the 1-year program that starts in April is part of a 4-year program. And this is the first year, right? I already have the 2nd year ongoing, and they will continue into the 3rd year. But yeah, the 1st year we lay the basics in astrology. So there are going to be 4 things, right? We're going to study astrology, astronomy, Indian philosophy, and mythology. The 4 pillars that I use when I look at astrology. All of that we'll be covering in the 1 year. So no short-term program, sorry.
Will it span? Will the classes be held on all the days if it during the 1-year program?
No, it's going to be once a week. And it's going to be 2 hours online. And you need to have at least another 2 hours of self-study in the week, right? So half an hour a day or 1 hour every other day or something like that. Plus, we are going to have 5 retreats, right? Friday check-in, Sunday check-out. And each retreat is going to be for a different element. Fire, earth, air, water, space, right? So what we do in the retreats, we visit the temple of the element. So in Tamil Nadu, we have the temples for each element. And we are going to have hands-on activities, right? To experience that element. When I say earth, how can I experience earth in my body? Right? Because then when you read a chart, it will come alive, right? You can really feel it rather than only mental understanding of the element. You will get to feel it, right? So these are going to be 5 retreats spread over the year, and we are going to decide the dates together. But yeah, so 2 hours online, and 5 retreats. Mamta?
So, Vikram, are we going to be working on our own charts in the first year? What is the basis of the experiential part of the course?
Right. Yeah. So there are 2 rules if you want to study with me. Okay, first rule is commitment for a year. That is required. Second rule, right? No reading the charts of other people, right? Friends, family members, no, right? You can work only with your chart, till you come to the end of the second year, right? In the second year, we experiment on my chart. I give you my birth details and I tell you, give me 3 readings, each reading to be 1 hour long, right? And you cannot repeat. The second hour must be a continuation of the first hour, right? 3 readings spread over whatever, 3 months, 2 months. And then we see if you're ready to read other people's charts. Yeah, but in the first year, no, we cannot read other people's charts. That's the second rule. Third rule, right? Very important. No predictions, right? For me, astrology is about self-discovery, understanding myself, not about what will happen tomorrow, when will I meet my soulmate, when will I get the jackpot. It's not for that, at least in my approach, right? If you're looking for predictions, there are other astrologers, not me, right? What I want to do with astrology is to understand the oneness, right? Using your chart.
And how much prior knowledge do you assume, Vikram? Like,
Zero.
Not only of astrology, but of like Hindu philosophy or
Zero.
Nothing? Okay.
Nothing, zero, right? So I'm going to have students from different countries, from different cultures. So I need to make sure that all of us are on the same page, right? So when I use a Sanskrit word like Purusha and Prakriti, not everyone understands that, right? When I use a concept like reincarnation, right? Different cultures have different opinions on this, different beliefs on this, and we need to have a common understanding. So this is what we will build on in the first year. We will lay the foundations, right? So I don't expect any knowledge whatsoever. It's going to be in English, so you need to be comfortable with English. It's going to be online, so you need to be comfortable with technology, right? As much as this, Teams, internet, mic, webcam, and that's all that I ask for.
Yeah, thank you.
What age group is this open to?
It's a good question. So I feel older the better. It is not really for children. I have not worked with children, so I don't know how to speak to them. So I would say 18 and above, but it could well be 20s and above. In my groups, I usually end up having people in their 30s and 40s. I have worked with elderly as well. When I first started teaching, I walk into my class and I see only grandparents. Right? I'm 25 and I'm speaking to only grandparents. So it's great, you know, at least we can have a dialogue. That's all I'm looking for, right? A dialogue.
I have to leave. Sorry. I have to leave, Vikram.
Sure.
There's another meeting online.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
Yeah, we have gone 5 minutes over. So I'll be sharing the recording with you over email. It will be on YouTube. You can go over this. I will also share my website with you. So if you are interested in learning further, you can take a look at my website. You can connect with me on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube. Just subscribe. You'll get all my notifications, my messages. But I see 2 hands up, Brinda and Divya.
Yeah, thank you, Vikram. A quick question. If I heard you correctly, you mentioned something about, in the example that you mentioned, Jupiter and working with certain asanas. So do you also have like a yoga prescription for certain people depending on what?
For all, yeah, for all charts, I come up with the asana that is required for that chart.
Okay, I'd never heard of this, so thank you so much. Very interesting perspective and totally new information to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Sorry, you were
right
saying.
now, for instance, I'm working with astrology and dance.
Okay.
Right. So if I want to address the fire element, what music will I use? What dance steps will I use if I want to activate the fire? Right. So if it's water, what music, what dance steps, right? How will I move to water? How will water move to music, right? Because then I have another way to remedy, right? An element, balance an element. But this I'm just exploring. So if you happen to be in Oroville, please join my workshops, right? And these are small workshops, like 2 hours, 3-hour workshops, right? Just dance.
And the retreats that you mentioned, they're all in person, the 5-day retreats. So we'd have to come to.
Yes, because we'll also be doing stargazing. I'll show you how to point a telescope to the stars, how to spot the planets. So recommended, highly recommended, but optional, right? Because I have people from other countries and they can't fly for every retreat.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay, I'll be in touch with you about the other details. So
Sure.
thank you so much. I really
Thank you.
enjoyed this. Looking forward to listening to the recording. Thank you.
Thanks, Brinda. Okay, Divya.
Hi. If you feel comfortable, could you share a bracket for finance? Like what's an energy exchange for this 1-year program?
Yeah, so I don't have a fixed fee.
Yeah, that's why I asked. Is there a bracket?
Okay, the bracket. Okay, so I have students contribute anywhere from 50 till 1,50,000. This has been the range, and different people have contributed different amounts for the 1 year, right?
Yeah.
Retreats are separate. This is just for the 2 hours a week. You get all the material, all the decks, the recordings. So it's 100+ hours of teaching, right? 52 weeks. But
it
yeah.
is. Yes. Thank you very much for that information. That helps. Yes.
Thanks, Divya. Vidushi?
Yes, hello. So actually, I am in Oroville only, and I will be here for quite few months. So I wanted to understand if I want to take your offline workshops. So how do I get update for that first? Because I think that will really help me to even decide more because I'm really interested in the subject.
Yeah.
In general, the life is also taking me here. We're doing Irumbai temple study also. So
Sure.
would be really interesting to get in person touch.
So can I send you all WhatsApp messages? Are everyone on WhatsApp? I think you'll have entered your WhatsApp number, right, in the sign up form. So that's a way that I can reach out to you. I'll add you to my list and I can send you. Yeah. If anybody does not want that, you just let me know. Yeah. Okay. Archana Jagdish.
Yeah. I now that you have told me, I'll speak to you through WhatsApp.
Okay.
It was in continuation with the previous question that I asked you. What is the age limit? And I wanted to actually talk to you about it. I feel you have to. This is an awesome thing, and very interesting thing that you're doing. And so I feel you have to really somehow catch the children young, so that they go towards oneness and not towards prediction and not towards the future. And we can build that only when they are young. So that was also something that I was interested in. I'll speak to you. You have actually shared. I would like to hear the updates, please. I'm okay for the WhatsApp message.
Yeah, I'll send you an update. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay. Okay, everyone. Meeta?
Yeah, so again, I would want to have the updates of the short courses that you offer. And I would, before diving into something, a year-long commitment, I would want to actually do it a little bit at a time.
You know, one thing that comes to mind about short-term courses is that you look at my website and I have shorter courses recorded. It's pre-recorded, it's not live, right? Maybe you can start with that.
Yeah. Is there something? I'll go through your website.
Yeah, it's on my website. There are 3 or 4 programs. And yeah, you get the recordings and you can watch it in your own time.
Thank you so much, Vikram. This helps. Thank
you. Monica?
Okay, first of all, I wanted to thank you for the web seminar. It was very nice and insightful. Yeah.
Thank you.
And thank you for allowing me to participate. And second, I would like to have this a course for is a 4-year course, right?
It's a 4-year program, and minimum commitment is 1 year.
Okay. And do we have to once a week, right? And do we have certificates or just?
Yes, you get a certificate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah.
Actually, one last question I have, Vikram. So sorry.
Yeah.
Do you have any content, like what can be in the what is going to be in the 1-year-long course? Is that also something you can share on the?
Yes. So let me just paste the website link over here in the chat. I'll also send it by email and WhatsApp. thingsvedic.in/astrology 101. On thingsvedic.in/. Yeah. So it's in the chat window. So you can visit this link. It's called Astrology 101. It's on my website, and all the details are there. And I also have a document called FAQ, Frequently Asked Questions document. So in case you want even more details than what's on the website, I can even share that with you. Yeah, but I will send this by email.
Thank you,
Vikram. Will you be doing any more, introductory talks before the course? There's somebody else I know who may want to come.
Yes, I think I will do a few more introductory, but I may not repeat this. I'll come up with something else.
Okay.
Right. And the purpose of this is to give you a taste, of what these online sessions can be like, right? And it's going to be a very interactive, and application, right? We're going to take this into the kitchen. We're going to take this into the traffic, right? How can I really live astrology? That's my intention, right? Even without a birth chart. Okay. I think we've got 15 minutes over, so I don't want to hold back anyone. Thank you so much, everyone. It was wonderful having you. Yeah. And I'll see you around.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vikram.
Thank you.